Welcome back to Not Your Average CEO Lifeline, where we have conversations with leaders in all different industries and different spaces so that we can get not your average information to you, hopefully information that you haven't heard on other podcasts before, and we can be unique in that way. So today I have my co-host Nicole with me, and we also have Usman Sheikh with us, and he is an expert in all things AI, which has been a very hot topic lately in our business for our clients, something that we've been curious about. So I know that just personally speaking, Nicole and I are really excited to be speaking with you today. So Usman, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me,
Yes.
Danielle and Nicole.
I'd love to kick off just by sharing with our audience just a little bit about your background, how you got to be where you are today, and what made you navigate over to the AI space.
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Usman Sheikh. I'm the CEO of a company called XIQ, which is a Silicon Valley-based company, and we specialize in using generative AI for B2B sales and marketing automation and intelligence. My background is I was with SAP, which is the world's largest B2B software company. And I had an opportunity of working with them in international roles and seeing how some of their salespeople actually dealt with large, complex sales cycles. And the idea dawned on me after having gone to N number of sales meetings that there were certain challenges that salespeople dealt with, such as getting information on their clients, staying on top of them during long sales cycles, dealing with multiple decision makers, and being able to navigate that complex landscape. On the other hand, while at SAP, I was also building their digital demand generation channel. And I was aware that there was a lot of data to be mined in the public domain on the internet, such as social media networks and so on. So the idea came, we've got a lot of data on the one hand, and we've got personalization requirements on the other hand. How can we synthesize that? And AI made a lot of sense in being able to use that. And now we have a platform that has many derivatives of using generative AI for B2B marketing. So one of them being that we can actually predict the personality of an individual, because even though it's the age of AI, people buy from people they trust. So being able to establish that people-based relationship is very important. And it's also very difficult at a time when we have moved to Zoom and virtual meeting places rather than being able to meet in person. So it's much more difficult to comprehend who your prospect is and how you should, for example, channel your sales page. And that led to the idea of using AI. And then because of my privilege at SAP of being able to see sales cycle, I knew where the deficiencies were and where this augmented intelligence, as we like to call it, could be applied to help us accelerate through the sales process.
That's wonderful. I think that it's something that, Nicole and I are very interested in, and we're hearing a lot from our clients about wanting to implement AI into their businesses, but they don't, really know how to do it. But I think one of the sort of key things that we hear from clients is that if they are implementing AI into their business, is it going to harm their customer engagement, their engagement with their prospects, the sales cycle? And I know that you talk a little bit about how you can actually improve customer engagement by using AI. Can you talk to our audience a little bit about that, maybe some key principles or key strategies there?
Yeah, for sure. So with every new technology comes a new way of using that technology. And there are also a lot of new opportunities on how you can use that technology to further your business scenario or use case, right? So AI presents a lot of those opportunities. It is really allowing us to be able to analyze large sets of data to be able to use as intelligence and insights in our sales decision making or in our ability to sell, right? So or manage the customer engagement piece. Today, because of our civilian lives, and what I mean is not professional, but in our day-to-day home lives, we get personalization everywhere. I turn on my Netflix and it's recommending me movies that I should see that would be behind type of the movies I've liked in the past, or that, meet my demographic, my personality, my tastes in different kind of movies. when I order food online, it's already making recommendations. Hey, this is something you may like. So we're living in the age of recommendations and suggestions. But this does not translate across into B2B selling, for example, right? So one of the core goals of my company, XIQ, is to be able to bring that degree of personalization into business to business. So for my advice to entrepreneurs and CEOs on how to use artificial intelligence, well, two ways. First of all, it's a great tool. It's giving you a lot of power in the ability to analyze complex sets of data, which, if analyzed properly, will only make you and your sales teams that much more successful and powerful. Knowledge is being power, right? So they will really make you very knowledgeable and powerful. And the other thing is AI has a lot of speed. It cuts through that analysis cycle very, very quickly. So I can be the first person to bring that information complete with analysis to my client or my prospect. And when I do that, I suddenly elevate myself from just a pure person selling to them to a reliable business partner that they can work with over a period of time, because I just brought them a very complex situation, analyze, hey, this is what's happening in your competitive landscape. These are some of the other tools. This is how you should potentially use our solution to advance and do betterment of your business, right? So the moment I get step into that range and I do it in a qualified manner, I'm certainly elevating myself into the eyes of my prospective buyers. Now, the point is that to step into the range, if I were to be without AI, I would have to spend a lot of time researching to become a domain expert. And simply with the quota pressures that salespeople have today, it's not possible to spend that kind of time. So that's where AI comes in. And my advice to entrepreneurs, think through your processes. Don't try to marginally improve. Hire an expert who knows AI and B2B and talk to them about what is the art of possible, because there is a lot more art of the possible than just AI automating your traditional processes. Those new opportunities need to be availed with AI. So very powerful tool, lot of data out there, lot that can be analyzed to help us enrich the customer experience. We just need to think through the scenario and think a little bit forward in terms of what can be done, because everybody will be surprised what AI can help you do today, which most of us still think is a few years ahead of us. It's here today, right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think most of our listeners are most concerned about the humanization of the AI in a B2B sales process. So can you talk a little bit about how AI can be used to actually, in conjunction with behavioral science, to actually humanize that process and integrate together? Because I think that is where folks get hung up on maybe going further with AI or hiring an expert in that area or moving forward with implementing it in their business because they worry about that lack of humanization. So can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, so by humanization, there's a big portion of humanization, which is personalization. So a lot of my barriers to entry go down if I suddenly become knowledgeable about my prospect and speak in a way with analogies that relate to my prospects. They suddenly start to understand me a lot more clearer and better, right? So personalization is a major part of that humanization. A lot of fear that is being spread around AI is that it's going to do mass spam mails, right? For example, it's going to be the one size fit all. Absolutely incorrect. For example, at XIQ, our company, we have merged 3 or 4 things together, and this will give you an example of humanization and personalization. First of all, we have the ability to use behavioral science. So psychometric analysis, if you've heard of Myers-Briggs or DISC methodologies, XIQ uses and has automated the DISC method, whereby we can collect publicly available information to predict how a person thinks and behaves, right? So this is, if you may, refer to as the EQ, the emotional part of how to engage with people. We complement that by also connecting a lot of information on companies and industries, such as their financials, such as news related to them, such as their SWOT analysis, and we bring that together. The third thing we do, and again, in the process of humanization and helping salespeople do their jobs better, is we bring in the ability to upload your own marketing collateral, your own product specification, your own case studies and white papers into our platform. Now we have three great opportunities. We can ask the generative AI to tell me what are the personal growth opportunities for Danielle and Nicole, for example, and it will actually go and find out and give me an example of what I could be talking to you in terms of what motivates you and in your career. Certainly, that gives me a unique dimension that none of my competitors have. I couple that with insights about the company and the industry, and I bring that together. So now I'm bringing valuable information about what's happening in the company, and I'm presenting it in a tone, manner, which my unique prospect can understand because I have the EQ mapped out for them. The third part is I can combine to this my own product information and my own corporate information that I want to bring. So now this mix is very interesting. I have factually correct data. I have up to the minute business insights, and I am speaking to my audience in a tone and a manner that only befits them, right? So this is how we have channeled AI and behavioral science into driving humanization. And I think it's again one of those stories where Danielle, where take new technology and use it to do the old process, you're going to get worse results than what you're getting right now. So don't think about doing mass. You can do mass emails, but think about doing mass emails in a highly personalized manner. When we at XIQ, for example, we have this tool that allows us to upload a list and craft out email copy for each individual type, personality type within that list. The moment we use that to send out, our open rates leapfrog to about 5 to 6 times that of our traditional emails, right? Because we're contextually correct. The words we're using in the subject line, resonate with our audience. The way the email is written resonates with the audience. So right there, the first step we take is highly personalized, humanized. So you don't need to, to get to 10 customers or 10 prospects, you don't need to send out 10,000 leads. You can send out 100 emails, for example, and have a much higher conversion rate, right? So the spam concept doesn't work. Because if you start thinking about how to use AI, you are using AI to channel a message very crisply and correctly to every individual. Hence, if my ability to ingest 10 leads and process them, that's my capacity. I don't need to go out to 10,000 people to get to 10 leads. I can just send out 100 people. And by virtue of what I'm doing, which is personalization around those 100 outreach contacts, I am by definition reducing the spam effect. And two, I am also increasing my opportunities to succeed because I'm qualifying them better by virtue of bringing them, knowing who they are, right? And that's the exact opposite of why AI would not personalize. People think it's a machine and the machine is going to write and use very mechanical words. Not correct at all. I mean, if you infuse it with the right behavioral boundary lines, so to speak, this is how you talk to a dominant person. This is how you talk to an influential person, or steady, or conscientious. Suddenly you bring out of that a highly personalized way of speaking. And therein, it takes you much closer to humanized than, let's say, a human that's just taking a cookie cutter approach, email or a message that's come from marketing. Dear first name is changed and the signature line is changed. Everything else is pretty much the same. You go from that into using anecdote to talk specifically to your prospect and bring them into the conversation. It's going to be much more humanized than what even a human would potentially do, given the pressure that they're under today.
It's really interesting, Usman. I'm going to change just slightly and ask you, right? Danielle and I are on the AI train of thought, but a lot of clients that we talk to, or a lot of business owners we talk to, they are skeptical, right? Like you said, that they're afraid of the spam. What advice would you have to give to them at a high level? What can it do for their business overall that may make them feel a little more comfortable to dive into this instead of saying, no, not not for me?
Yeah. So I think the age of AI in general is the age of opportunity because the number of opportunities that AI creates, right? Not only in taking your current processes and improving them, but also helping you create net new processes. Now, something that used to take a week, you can do in 10 seconds, for example, right? So if you can do this in 10 seconds, you may want to string this along into a process that might take 5 minutes, but is actually composed of 6 processes, sub processes, which would have taken weeks to do. Example, creating an account plan, right? Or doing a SWOT analysis. These things take a lot of time and require skill sets. AI can do that for you in microseconds, right? So now you're going to go in much superiorly prepared into a meeting, right? So AI is the age of opportunity in just about every field, every profession, every industry. So now the mindset of the seller and the CEO has to change into selling opportunities. So remember, a solution provider can see those opportunities and has the vision. Your client and prospect does not. So we have to traverse them across into understanding, this is what is the possible. So I would not, AI is very powerful. Even if you use the very, very basic AI, Chat GPT, which everybody uses today, even that gives you exponentially better results. And then you can get into a much more niche AI like ours, which is very curated around business and sales and marketing and information. And you get even that much closer, right? So my advice is that people should start jumping on the AI bandwagon. They should start approaching their customers with the idea of educating them and making them aware of the tremendous amount of net new opportunities that exist. And in doing so, change that equation from a sales partnership to a value-added partnership. I can show you the path into the future, right? I can help you grow your business. McKinsey says that generative AI is going to create a $1.4 trillion per year opportunity in sales productivity. Let me repeat that, $1.4 trillion per year in sales productivity. That's a lot of sales productivity that's got to be released. And in order for that to be released, you have to chop, on the one hand, your processes from weeks, months to seconds, on the one hand. On the other hand, you need to increase your impact exponentially as well, right? And AI helps you do that. So anybody that is considering even the very basic elements that are out there today are already going to give you a big jump ahead. For example, I could even go to ChatGPT and ask it, tell me what is the future of a particular industry? What are their future pain points? In the case of XIQ, you can also say, what are the future opportunities for my prospect? And based on my solutions, which are the solutions that will best enable this prospect to achieve those goals that they haven't even thought of as yet? And how will what will be the business case for doing that? I can do that all today using XIQ, for example, right? It has all the data points to put it together. So entrepreneurs need to think that this is a complete step change opportunity with AI. The way we've been selling has traditionally been by creating fear, uncertainty, doubt. Oh my God, Nicole, the sky is going to come falling if you don't do that. You're going to lose your job if you don't do that. It's no need to create that fear. There's so much opportunity out there. You're going to grow so much. You're going to become the hero in your company. You're going to have the ability to be classified as the person that introduced generative AI to your company in the right manner. The net new opportunities far outweigh that approach. So I think we need to take a positive approach. Think of AI as augmented versus artificial intelligence. It's going to collect a lot of data. It's going to analyze that. It's going to reduce my decision-making cycle time to seconds. It's going to improve my decision-making because I have a lot of factors coming in exponentially more. And people have to jump on. Last thing I will say to the audience is that the rate of innovation, the rate of change with AI is so fast that anybody, this is now me creating the fear, uncertainty, and doubt. But anybody that doesn't jump on the bandwagon of AI soon will be left behind significantly. If you
Yeah.
look at our product roadmap over the last 1 year, the it's a completely different product because the rate at which we have been able to introduce innovation because we use generative AI ourselves is far greater. What used to take me 12 weeks, I can do in 2 hours, right? And
Yeah.
that's the opportunity that people need to be thinking about, not the fact that it's going to cause paralysis and workforces are going to go away. Workforces are not going to go away. Only those people that do not use AI, which is a very powerful tool, have the opportunity to potentially become obsolete. But those that jump on the AI bandwagon, as all of us have realized by going to Chat GPT, it's so much easier, it's so much fun, it gives me so much insight, right? Same thing can apply to our business world as well.
I'm glad that you put the little bit of fear, because that's the little bit of fear that I usually talk about. I don't always talk about the positive. So you definitely changed my perspective on it. As our podcast is titled Not Your Average CEO, I'd like you to put on your CEO hat instead of maybe the AI hat and talk to our audience as what piece of advice do you have for them being a CEO in regards to their business? What little nugget of information would you tell them about being successful as a CEO?
Yeah, I think that rolling your sleeves up and getting hands-on involved in sales, especially if you're a CEO of a startup company or a mid-sized company, is very important. I think having your finger on the pulse directly with your prospects and customers is supremely important in understanding what product and service you're going to bring to the market. And yes, sales guys are great guys, but who knows the company better than a founder, CEO, or a CEO themselves? So, and who are we doing it all for? We're doing it for customers. We're doing it for the growth of the company with people that are going to buy our prospects. So, getting to that, I think, is probably the most important one cycle that every CEO should engage in, is getting yourselves involved with customers, seeing what they're asking for, just trying to interpret where the market is headed, because products that are grounded in the reality of what your customers want are hugely successful. And setting, because the CEO is by definition the person that sets the vision for the company, knowing where these customers want to go is very important. And one other thing I'd like to say is that, I like to quote Henry Ford, right? He said, if I went to my clients and asked them what I should build, I would have built a mechanical horse. So I had the vision of the engine and being able to take the stagecoach and make a motor coach out of that. And therefore, I was able to create the car and the gears and all that kind of good stuff that happened subsequently, right? But the CEO has to be the visionary. So this is the idea person, and the idea person needs to collect and build ideas based on what's the reality. So talk to your clients and your prospects, see what they're looking for, and then use your visionary mindset to construct the ideas and build the next generation solutions, is what I would recommend.
Would you have the same advice if I said, what does not your average CEO mean to you?
What the average CEO does not do? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. What makes someone not your average CEO?
For me, personally speaking, I think it's the affinity, the alignment, and the empathy that your not average CEO has about their customers and prospects. It's their ability to predict what's the need of the moment that makes them hugely successful in what they do. And as I said, I think getting your hands, involved with your clients and
Right.
prospects is very important in helping you become a not average CEO. But being able to take that information and those insights and roll it up into something that allows you to serve them better, right? So I think the not average, and I'm hopefully by not average, you mean above average, not the
Correct.
below.
Yes. Not below. We have never heard that one before, but yes, definitely above average.
Yeah. So the above average, the top 9 CEOs are very customer obsessed, I would say. Customer obsession is the number one thing, I think, that makes them unique and distinguishes them from everybody else.
Wonderful. Usman, I was just going to mention that I've been taking notes as you've been speaking. There's so much that that you have shared with us that I think is really insightful. Nicole and I have been involving ourselves in this world of AI probably for the past year or so. And you shared so many insights that are new with us. And I know it's stuff that we'll be talking about offline as well. But I wanted to thank you so much for your time today. I know our audience is going to get a lot out of what you had to say. And I'd love to share with the audience, and we'll include this information in our show notes as well. But if you can tell the audience where they can find you, where they can connect with you, where they can learn more about your services.
Yeah, beautiful. So I can personally be reached on LinkedIn. It's USMAN. Last name is Sheikh, SHEIKH. Put in XIQ just to distinguish me from the others. Mm-hmm. And our website is XIQINC, so xiqinc.com. So those are best ways to reach me. LinkedIn, as I said, I am obsessed with customers. I'm obsessed with talking to potential end users, just about anybody who wants to talk to me about my business. So I take in a lot of messages, and I love the idea of being able to engage with people in thoughtful conversations on that.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful to hear from you, and I know our audience, like Danielle said, is going to find true value. So thank you, Usman.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate that.